You've probably heard the writing advice, write what you know. We're actually going to be talking about writing what you don't know today. Welcome to How to Write Good. I am your host, Daniel Poppie. You can find out more about me at danielpoppie.com. If it is your first time here, How to Write Good is a writing podcast that seeks to find principles and advice that can be applied across a broad range of writing situations. If you've been here before, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button below, and share. So when you hear the writing advice, write what you know, do you think that makes sense? Because I think that on its surface, that advice really doesn't make sense. Think about what you know. You really don't know much, first of all. But think about your life. Think about your experiences. For me, there are certain things that are interesting in my experiences, but the vast majority of what I've experienced isn't that interesting, right? I could write in a fancy way. I could write in a way that probably keeps people's attention, just because I think I've gotten to the point where I've gotten that skill. But at the same time, my experiences, there are a lot of good things in them. There are a lot of things that I could talk about, but it is going to make people fall asleep, to be honest. Especially if you're a writer. Think about what you do as a writer. You sit down and you write a lot. Well, my experiences include writing a lot. So if I want to write about the bulk of my experiences, I'm going to be writing about writing, which is tedious and kind of full of yourself, to be honest. If you are a writer writing about writing, people don't like that. It's kind of annoying and you should stop it. Unless you're me, right? Talking about writing is a bit different. No, I don't mean it that way. But if you have writing within your fiction, Stephen King does this where he has a writer within his story. So one of his characters is a writer. I'm not a fan of it. I don't think you should do it. I think it breaks the fourth wall. I just don't think it's a good idea. I think it shows self-indulgence where you shouldn't be indulging yourself within your writing, and I think Stephen King probably realizes at this point, but I still think he puts writers in his writing and is kind of a stand-in for himself, I think, because he is a writer. But most people's lives aren't riveting. Some people have instances in their lives that are very interesting, but the majority of a person's life isn't, and then we have those few instances of excitement in our lives. This advice, though, does have something at its core that is important. You do need to draw from what you know when you write. The bulk of your writing, the core, I think it's called a core. You know, in Harry Potter, they have the wands. You have the core in the wand, and it's made of something, and that gives it its magical qualities. Well, the magical quality to your writing comes from the little things that you bring into your writing from your daily experiences. You have specific experiences in your life. You are trying to understand those experiences as best you're able to, and then you are trying to write out those experiences so that a person can think your thoughts after you or experience your life or whatever you're going through after you. So those little pieces, the little details, help bring writing to life. But like I said, think about that as being at the core of your writing, and that is what you know. So you're writing what you know in that sense. That's bringing that magical quality to your writing. But in most cases, people don't want to read about your life. So what you're doing is you're creating that magical core with that thing, and then you are exploring other things that you know or don't know. All right? You are exploring things that you don't know. You're trying out different ideas. You're trying out different words. You're trying out different ways of saying things. You're trying out different plot points, different characters, people you'd never interact with. You're trying to explore those different things, and you might fail, but you're getting better as you do it. Okay, and that's going to bringing those two things together is going to make your writing a lot more interesting than if you just stick to what you know. Please don't stick to what you know. Most people want fantasy, of some sort. Most people want escapism. That's what I meant by fantasy. When they are reading, give them that fantasy. Give them that escapism. They like it. Give it to them. And you probably like writing it too. It's fun to make things up. It's fun to have stories that are wild or have weird stuff in them or just go out of the box in terms of how they present things. It is fun. One last thing I'd like to say is that, like I said, the core of what you're writing is what you know, and that creates the magical, realistic quality of what you're writing. It brings all the different things you're writing back down to earth, whether you're writing a thriller, whether you're writing a cozy mystery, whether you're writing fantasy, whether you're writing crazy, weird science fiction. That core will bring everything back down to earth. It'll ground it, and it'll help people see that this is actually a real thing, even though you're making all of it up. To be better at creating that core, you need to actually explore what you know. You need to explore things like, why do I react to this in this specific way? How does this specific type of wood look? The little things in life, all right? You're not just exploring big things. You're exploring the little details in life. You're trying to understand the little details. You're trying to understand how you interact and experience those little details so that you can take them and put them into your writing and then give people that sense that what is happening is actually real. The better you know these little details, the better you know what you know, if we want to say it that, the better you're able to you're going to be able to express them, and the more powerful your writing will be. But certainly don't stick to what you know. Try different things, because a part of art is trying different things, and you might flop, but you might strike gold as well. If you enjoyed this podcast and you want to support me, there's really one simple thing you can do. You can go to danielpoppie.com/newsletter and sign up for my newsletter. And when you sign up, you'll actually be able to get access to my publication roadmap. So that's everything I have planned for pretty much every project I have into the next decade. Again, that is danielpoppie.com/newsletter. You can also find the link below.